Yeah, so we'll just click on new, a new case right there. It's going to give us a new format like this. And then we select whatever the demo. It doesn't really matter. You can put your clients in, you can put your company name, whatever. You can put this over here by using this key. You can add a new one. You can add a new ID in here, and you can add a new ID over here onto your computers. I've added as this one, so I'll choose this one. And the name of the file, you can name whatever the name of the file can be. It can be anything, XYZ. I'll just call that as a test file. Just call that as a text file. And then new, I'll just call that. And then you can choose as a technician. Again, you can add a technician from here as a new technician. From here, there. Now there you can always put in any description you like from the prescription, from the doctor, from whatever. You can put in your own notes, and then you say, if it's an upper one, you click on the upper. If it's a lower one, we'll design the lower one today. So lower, and then you go into bite splint, whatever you're doing. It could be a coping, it could be whatever, anatomical coping, but we're not talking about that one today. We'll just talk about the bite splint. Bite splint, 3D print, and there, occlusal thickness, you can select it from here. You can select your peripheral thickness from here as well, and you can select your smoothing. Normally, I keep these as the normal settings: 1.8 as the peripheral, 2 occlusion, which is the normal minimum that I do, and then smoothing, I'll keep it at 10 to make it more smoother. Click on OK. Yeah, you can keep it at 5. Doesn't matter. Now, the highest it is, more smoothing it gives to this top. This is bite splint top, not the bottom one. So this is the smoothing on the outside of the knife. So you can leave it at 50% if you like. You can leave it at 5. You can leave it at 10. I normally sometimes keep it at 10. Normally I keep it at 10. But if you can keep it at any time, doesn't really matter. That's not going to affect the night guard. But yes, it gives you more smoothness on the top. And then now again, other settings are like here, standard fill gap. So if you don't want to keep it here, this is what the reason it does is it fills up the teeth gap. Wherever you have the gaps for the teeth, it fills up that automatically. So you can use this one if you like, but normally we keep it over here, and you fill up those gaps automatically. If there is any gaps, then it automatically fills those gaps. Normally we understand there are no gaps, so we just leave it in a standard bite splint mode. Okay, there, and then click on OK, and it'll ask you whether it's going to be 2 appliances, upper and lower, or whether it's just going to be one single arch. Normally it is one single arch all the time. Double arch will only happen if you're devising if you're designing some other appliances. We can talk about that later. So single arch, and it gives you single arch. Then we select save. Once you've done that, it saves that as a project file, but it does not have the file yet. It does not have the upper arch and the lower arch. So you need to do is you need to bring those arches together into the file. Sometimes you can use it from iTero as well. Sometimes you can load them from there. But it's most of the time what happens is you have to bring the files in automatically. Open in Explorer. You would see it has no files in there. It just created the project, but it has no file. I'll bring in the upper and lower jaws in here that have already been scanned. So I'll bring in those from one of the previous projects that I already have. So I'll bring in from my older projects, upper and lower. Here, upper and lower. I'll bring those in from here, copy them, and then bring them into the folder. Paste them over here. So the project becomes complete now. So I don't need them. I can just maximize this. That's in there. And then I go and hit design. So I know the files are in the folder. I just hit on design, and the application will start working. Yep, there it's going to ask me for lower arch. I go into the lower folder and select my lower arch, open it, and then it's going to ask me for my upper arch. I go above into my upper folder and select my upper arch. There, so that's your lower arch. If you design a lower one, I can keep it as straight as possible. Insertion path, check that over here, and I click on next. I don't need to go through this one. This is all segmentation. Normally we don't need any segmentations for this one. I'll just skip that stage. Go to the next one. And that's my insertion direction, and I'll select this one. Undercut allowance, I normally do it as 0.08, 0.05. Then again, that all depends on your fittings again. You must have experienced that one either by printing or whatever reason, whatever that works for you. You select your undercut appliance. If it's too tight, you can just go down to 0.01, 0.02, 0.05. Or if you want to keep it more tighter, then you increase the undercut to 0.5. That's the maximum we can do. I normally select this one as 25. Defaults are 17. I selected 25. And then click on insertion direction. That'll change the angle over here. That'll change the angle here. Okay, so that all blocks out everything. We talked about this one. You can increase the blockage. You can increase the blockage to 100%, 50%, whatever. So if you want to make it looser, you increase the blockout area as well. If it's tighter, you increase the blockout area. Again, you can select on this one. You can also change your occlusal thickness even before, or you can change them over here if you like. 2 millimeters, 1.8, 10 millimeters. Those are the same settings that's coming from the beginning, but you can again change them from here. Let's design it. Let's close. It's normally better to go around and see where the blockouts. These are the blockout areas, but I would go and see, cover as much as I can to make sure that it gets into my undercuts areas as well, so that the night guard is hooking to those undercut areas. Then I would go around there. Double click at the last end and we'll do the night guard. Now you can set again if you like. It's too high, you can slowly adjust that area again to make sure your undercuts are covered up, or the night guard is within that area, this area, that area. Those are all undercuts where you can catch up. And make sure the line is as straight as possible. Sometimes it cannot be straight. Sometimes it has to be following the curve of speed of curve. It has to follow that sometimes. But if you can, it all depends on how you want to design it. I normally design it and make sure it's roughly around 2 to 3 millimeters from that gingiva, or at least covering the bulge of the contour of the teeth. And then you hit again, apply. Once you're comfortable, you go to the next stage. At this stage, if you want to do your mounting, you can. It's not important. But to do the mounting, you have to go to the expert mode. So you click on the expert mode, then click on your tools and articulate. There it's going to ask you, you can choose different articulators as well. And there, to move this one, you can move it like that just by clicking on it, and to rotate, you click on your control key to move it. Control, and then you can move this using the arrow. When you do the control, it gives the arrows. There, you hit A to hide your antagonist, and then you can click on your automatic here. So it's in manual, you can click on the automatic, and then put in 3 points for automatic articulation. So one there in the incisal, that was the incisal. The second one, as you can either choose there, but it has to be symmetrical, either the 7s or the 6. 7s, 7s, and then click on perform alignment. So when you click on this one, it performs your alignment right there. Performs your alignment. You can bring in your antagonist by clicking on A again. Brings up your antagonist, and then you can click on here, which is a bite splint. You can click on here, and it brings in your bite splint. There, you can either check by there. You can check what is their thickness. Now you can see it's right on. It's roughly right on there. See, it's so whatever you selected 2 millimeters, it's roughly 2 millimeters of the bite night guard, roughly there. That's going to make sure you can check either both sides, or you can check whatever is a reference, you can check that side. So it's roughly within that range of 2 millimeters that you selected. That's 2 millimeters, and you click OK. It's going to again give you how much it is. The system's going to tell you what is the difference. So it tells you now that measures your what is 1.5. It's giving you 1.5 millimeters. That gives you the shortest distance measured between the two opposing sides. You just click on OK, leave the gap. When you say remove, it removes the gap and then includes them together. So you don't need to remove the gap. You just have to say leave the gap between the night guard, because you want the gap for the night guards to come in. You click on this one, and it leaves the gap in there. Now it says 1.5. We measured as 2. If you want, you can increase from here. You can increase the distance between them. So 1.5 plus, when you're increasing it, 1.5 plus 4 will give you roughly 1.9, 2 millimeters. Or you want to leave it as 1.5, you can leave it as 1.5. Again, depending on the prescription from the doctor. Let's articulate. And then click OK. Now, once there, go back into your visit mode. So you were in the expert, go back into visit mode, click on here, and then it starts where you ended with. Now there, I would uncheck that box. I would increase the maximum strength, and then I will round the edges first. So round the edges, you click on smooth, and then use shift to round the edges. I will go all around the night guard and round the edges first. That's my first step. That's what I do, and make sure the line is clean. It's straight and perfect. So I would do that. Make sure it's a straight, round the edges, round there, all around the night guard. Okay, so once you've done that, then I would do add, and I would add those areas where it's not straight, right from the top area. So your occlusal surface, and I will keep on adding. To make sure it's straight as possible, no kinky, no scalloping. Make sure the area is right there. Once you're happy with it, I would go to the next stage, which will be adding maximum strength. Bring in the opposing by clicking on the add A. The opposing comes in, or you can do it from here, and then keep adding. So add on here, and I will add the night guards until they are roughly a blue or yellowish orange kind of thing. I would add until they are bluish, yellowish, that area. Of course, we know that we have to smooth it back again, so I'll add, even if a little bit more, I'll keep adding to make sure that the plane is really perfectly straight. Now for the canines, I can just go and make sure they're added. I know we're adding a little bit more, but I'm just making sure that they're added and that edge is made over here. Some of the labs needed rounded. I'll add a little bit over here, add it to this side, make sure that's added here, and make sure that the occlusal plane is really flat. Okay, so once I've done that, I'll go back on the smooth and smooth it out again. To this side, I'll smooth it out again. Go all around. Go on this side. Smooth it out again. And then I would smooth it out right on the top. To make sure that so it's in that area of blue and magenta. I'll smooth it out here. So I need to get into that area, roughly into that area. Then I would straighten the edges this way. I keep that at an angle and add. I'll do it 50% roughly and keep adding those edges. I'll smooth it out later, but I'll keep on adding now until they are straight again. Add it in the edges. Again, add on this side. Make sure they're added straight. That side is done. And make sure these are straight as well from here. So added. And there's no kink. This side. And since I was just adding, I'll add on the other side. And now I'm going to smooth them out. So I go and smooth 50%, and I'll smooth everything out. Smooth on this side. Then I'm going to smooth that edge there. Then I'll do the other side. There, smooth it. I'll do that side. There. And I'll also smooth if possible on the top again. Make sure they are flat. Make sure they are flat again over here. If they are less in contact, and if I add more, I can add slightly over here. Make sure they're added back on. Just make sure that they are symmetrical on both sides and looks nicer. I'll add a little bit on the edges as well. Slightly on these edges to make the edges more prominent. So I'll make that sure that the edge is more prominent. On this edge, give me a wall kind of appearance. Add on that side as well. Add a little bit over here. So just make sure that you're symmetrical night guard and it's smooth. Then I would smooth it again. Smooth it on the top again, like that. Smooth it on the top and smooth this area again. And I will check by putting in my night guard, make sure that is symmetrical. If there's anything else, I would go in and smooth the area here. Make sure they're flatter. So once I'm happy, and then bring that in. It looks happy, all the way is good. So I can add a little bit here. And then there. Yep, once up there, I'm happy with it. Then I will cut the night guard. I will adapt it to the opposing teeth. I clip at 0 degrees, 0 millimeters, and do only static. I don't do dynamic because dynamic will be movement of the articulation. So I do only static. That's why you don't need to mount them and do the articulation, but that's what I do. Static occlusion only, go back into smooth. I would take away the color, but to take away that color, the blue one, you click on the antagonist, it takes away that color, and it will smooth it, only smooth it, not with a shift, just with the smoothing, just to make sure they are rounded and smoothed out. So the marks remain, but they're smoothed out. Now some of the clinic, the doctors do not want smoothing. They need real plain. They don't need indentations. In that case, you can smooth with a flat, with a shift. You can smooth with a shift, but make sure the sign is over there, the contacts are there. You can do that too. But again, depending on the lab's requirement, if you click on the antagonist again, that comes back again. So we do have the contacts. I do still have the contacts. I'll add a little bit slightly over there to make sure. And then I'm done. Looks nice. Let's bring up the opposing. I'll check one more time to take a look. All is clear. All is good. Make sure they are all okay. If I want to make any changes, I can. Slightly. If I'm happy, there, I'm happy, it looks good. I'm happy with it, that's fine. I go to the next one and it saves the file. There. The file is saved and it's ready for printing. Okay, so for this one, once it's done that, it's merged together, you can go into here, freeform restoration. When you go to the freeform restoration, and then click on next. Once you've done that, it goes into it goes into here, and then you go to the attachments. Attachments, and then from generic, you go into text. You can add a lot of things over here. These are all things that you can add to the night guard. Well, I go into the text because we need to add the name of on the night guard. Text, and then now this is the name it gives you. That's the file name. So I click on the text to add name of the person. So if you want to add any name of the person, that shows you what you want to add there. You can, whatever you can do, you can add the name of the person, name of the text, name of the person. Now there, you can always, now protrusion will be over here. This is protrusion. But if you want to bite into the night guard or take away from the night guard, then you go into deboss and text, and this will deboss. This will go into the night guard. This is protrusion, this is deboss. So you can do both. You click over there, wherever you click, and when you click apply. So once you've done that, you hit apply, and it creates, it applies it, so the text is applied to the night guard. And then you click on next, so it saves the text now. Save your modifications, yes. If you want to check the thickness, you can just do cut view. You can go at the very last and you can check the thickness of the night guard. This is not where it should be. It should be from there, because that is the minimum thickness. That red line is the minimum thickness. Minimum thickness, we kept it as roughly, it kept it at 0.5. So we want to check your thickness of the night guard. Thickness of the night guard wall is from there to there. There to there. That's the wall of the night guard. That's the wall of the night guard. The wall of the night guard is roughly 1.5. We kept it at 1.8, but since you've been playing around, you've been smoothing, it sometimes takes away some of the stuff. If you check the occlusion, from there to there is your occlusion. You can check how much it is at the back. But wherever it's showing you, it tells you where the occlusion is. There it's 2%, there's 1.8, there's 2, and you keep on moving, it tells you where the occlusion is. The minimum thickness of the night guard. From there to there, it tells you 2 millimeters at the back. And you can all go around and see where the thickness of the night guard is. So again, I told you some of the doctors want 1 millimeter thickness. Some of the guard, and so normally I would think it's between 1.5 to 2 millimeters as the peripheral thickness of the night guard. But depending again on the requirement from the lab, they can tell you that I only need 1 millimeters on the wall thickness and I need 2 millimeters on the occlusion. So again, depending on the prescription, you can set your prescriptions and occlusion. Peripheral thickness based on that prescription. And then you can also create your models from here, right? right there. So once you're happy with the night guards and you want to create your models of the night guard where you can check, you can quickly do quick model design or design model. Quick model design automatically does a lot of stuff for you, automatically designs the model for you. I can walk you through. Just click on this one, next, and now it's going to design the model for you for the night guard. So it's automatically setting everything up because you clicked on the quick night model design. That's why it's working everything out automatically. You're not setting anything out. It's generating a model upper and lower automatically. There, it did the lower and it's doing the upper. So it automatically created that. It automatically gives in the holes on the model. You don't even have to put anything yourself. So he's created both of them, and so we're calculating. There, and automatically adds the attachments, and it creates the models. There. So it created the model, it created the attachments, but if you don't want the attachments, you can always go and delete the attachments if you like. It gave in your the holes as well, the drain holes at the bottom, and it gave you your attachments. You can delete the attachments if you don't like them. You don't need the attachments. You can always take the attachments away. Click on the attachment and hit delete. If you hit delete, it deletes the attachments. But you're done. It's created the model, the attachments, everything is there. You can just click on next and it saves into the same folder. Same folder, I'll just click on the same folder. This is if you want to design both files together or save them somewhere else. That's what's asking you where do you want to save it. So I'll click on save anyways. It overwrites the previous files. It's done. Once it's done, you can go into the folder there and view details there. So your night guard, that's your night guard. This is your upper model and this is your lower model. So it's created the models at the same time because we asked it to create the models. So you can print these and then you can print this one, and that's your night guard. You can want to see this night guard, you can see the night guard, this one, and you can bring into that one. So this is your night guard, you can bring it into here. You can just drag, drop, and there is how you can check. So that's the night guard that we designed. Normally, if I know my peripheral thickness is 2 millimeters or 1.8 millimeters, I normally don't check unless it's too thin from that side. I don't check from the intaglio. No, I don't. I just make sure. You can also check the thickness from here. I think showing up here. I'm doing any there adjustment and right click, cut view. And it'll give you cut view anytime you like. Make sure it'll give me the cut view of the, to let me know where that is. Control, and then I rotate it. Make sure what the thickness of the night guard is. I can check over here as well. It gives me the thickness and it checks me where the thickness. I can check it from there too. This one too, I can check those. So some areas it's more, some areas it's thin. I can also check the thickness of wherever I want to by moving where I want to check the thickness. There. So sometimes it's 1.6 somewhere. From there to there, I need it's 1.2, it's 2 millimeters there, which is what we kept. And intaglio, it's normally we don't touch anything in the intaglio. Just make sure that is how it was blocked out and everything was done. It's exactly how it was blocked out. So this is our project. If you want to clean up the model before you design and create another case to this one, we're doing nothing. We're doing this one. I'm just giving you another example. Do the same settings, arch, save, and then bring in the files from here. For example, upper and lower, copy those and bring into here, into this one, the new one, paste them over here, and then if you do design the night guard, it opens up. I do the upper one and the lower. Yep, there. Now, if I want to make any changes to before I even design the night guard, I have to go into the export mode. Let's suppose if I want to take some bubbles away or whatever. So these bubbles, small things. If I want to make something before I even design something like this one, this area, clean up those areas, I go into the export mode there, and then export. Then there's something over here called, I click on that model, and then this is cutting the model. This is freeform scan data. So whatever you scan the data, it freeforms and changes that. You click on this one, and now it allows you to make those changes to the model before you even design. So if you have any issues, so smooth, that's smooth, I'll go in and smooth that area. So I can make those changes. Smooth the area before even I design. So that's what you can do. Some of the area which is not clean, I can clean the area up. If there are any issues with the models, for example, if I see any bubble, I'll probably clean that area up slightly. That area. And you can clean those areas before you even go to design the night guards. Shift will flatten out. I'm just using smooth. So I'm just using the smooth. I'm not shifting because shift will give you a flat. So wherever you can use whatever you like. You can use this one you can use the brush, but there I'm only using, you can go here, that'll be bigger, and I can use this one, and then again smooth. So it all depends what you want to use. If you want to carve in, you can go remove, and you can carve and remove that area there. So smooth and those areas. So then you can use a pen, you can use this, or you can use a bigger brush there. So it all depends what you want to use. So you need to be familiar. This is smoothing and removing. So once you're happy or you're done, I remove any bubbles up from here, some of the area from here. Once you're happy with it and you remove all those bubbles, you just click OK, and then you continue by going back into the visit mode again. So you were in the export mode, you go back into the visit mode again. So it will start wherever you ended. So it'll start right from the beginning. That's how you can change. You can correct the model.